So, with an August 5th deadline, calls are growing to blow off the August recess. One supporter of that joins us now. Here's Republican Senator Luther Strange of Alabama, member of the Budget and Armed Services Committees and a former Alabama Attorney General, joins us now from Birmingham. Senator, good to see you. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
I'm glad to be with you, Eric. Thanks very much.
Well, you know, about 10 or so of your Republican colleagues have peeled off from the bill. So what do you think will happen to try and readjust, maybe, renovate some of it and fix their concerns?
Well, there's feverish negotiations going on right now. All of us are working together to try and thread that needle. The 52 votes, we need to get something done through reconciliation. I can tell you through my interaction with my citizens, they support my position, which is to repeal Obamacare immediately. That's what's been promised, and work on a replacement. If we can't get it done in the next few days, time will tell when we return to Washington tomorrow.
What do you say to those who think, though, that gap, that repeal and delay, though, will leave a lot of people uncovered, and that could be a mess?
Well, I think the way you'd have to do it is to allow a period of time, a year or two, to let the negotiations go on. This is a situation, and as I look at it from my perspective of my state of Alabama, we didn't expand our Medicaid through innovation and efficiencies. We've covered our people. Other states, of course, added working age people to their rolls. They naturally don't want to cut back on that, but that's a big issue to me. This program, Medicaid, was intended to cover the disabled and poor women and children. It's been expanded way beyond that. As a conservative, I'd like to see us get back to conservative principles. That's what I'll be advocating for when I get back to Washington.
Well, you know what some of the critics are saying? I mean, they're concerned the premiums go up. The Kaiser Foundation said for people over 65, it could go up as much as, 4 times. You talk about Medicaid. Let me read you something from the Montgomery Advertiser just a couple of weeks ago about that. And they say, quote, "In your state, Medicaid covers over 1 million Alabamians. Childless, able-bodied adults almost never qualify. The loss of federal money would require the Alabama legislature to raise taxes to replace the lost funds or reduce services. That would likely mean cuts to the program, which could extend waiting times for patients and lead to closures of hospitals and primary care practices, particularly in rural areas that count on Medicaid." So how can that, be addressed in the bill, or what proposal would you have to try and prevent that?
Well, I think the point is a good one, that states should be dealing with issues, more power and responsibility back to the states. Alabama's done an excellent job so far, so that's part of my thinking there. The other issue you mentioned, which is important to my state, is the insurance coverage in the individual market. That's an incredibly big problem here. We have 300% increases in individual premiums, which is the highest in the United States. It's not sustainable, so we've got to get back to that to deal with that issue as well, because that's just going to fail if we don't do anything.
And you wrote this letter to the Senate leadership to try and, go back to work. So I think the American people, no matter what you think, thank you for being willing to work through your August research, not going down to Gulf Shores or Orange Beach and, hanging out in the great Gulf Shore of your state and actually working. Because as you point out in that letter, Senator, you've also not just have health care, you've got you've got debt, and you've got the budget, and you've got taxes still to go, and facing a September deadline for that.
Well, we have a beautiful state, and it would be great to vacation throughout our state, but I've written that letter. We need to work as hard as President Trump is working. I'm new to the ways of Washington. I have only been there a little over 4 months. It seems to me we should be rolling up our sleeves, and the idea of taking a month-long, quote, break in 3 weeks without addressing taxes, regulatory reform, and, of course, repeal and replace, that just doesn't sit well with me, and I'm positive it doesn't sit well with the citizens of my state, who recognize the severity of these problems and expect us to find common sense conservative solutions to them. I think they're there. We've just got to get it done.
Have you gotten an answer back on whether you can work, or they'll skip the recess?
No, but my colleagues and I expect we'll be pushing that issue very hard when we get back. It's very difficult the way the Senate moves to accomplish these big goals in these short periods of time. We need to roll up our sleeves and stay there as long as it takes to actually get results for the citizens.
Senator Luther Strange, who says that Congress should not take 3 weeks off. Good luck with that, and we'll see what happens with the legislation. Senator, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Eric.
Of course.
Appreciate it very much.